Hello, and welcome to another edition of the E-commerce Evolution Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Curry, CEO of OMG Commerce. And today we have a return guest. He's one of the few. We have had a couple of return guests on the show, but this is definitely part of an elite club. This is elite status when you get asked back to the E-commerce Evolution Podcast. We did also realize that it's been 3 years since we've had this guest on. And so I am excited to welcome to the show again, Mr. Chris Lynch of Everyday California. Chris, what's up, man? How's it going?
What's up, buddy? Good to hear you. Good to see you.
Yeah, you as well.
Stoked to be back. I didn't realize it'd been 3 years. It's pretty wild.
I know time flies. So we've known each other a long time. You know, you're a client and a bro. So we run your Google ads and stuff, and we hang out in San Diego on occasion because I like to get out there as much as I can, even maybe once during COVID.
Yeah.
But anyway, excited to talk about a few things. I want to first get everybody caught up. I want people to hear the story of Everyday California. And quick shout out, I am wearing,
there it is.
Watching the video, I am wearing an Everyday Cali shirt today in honor of this interview. So I want everybody
I'm wearing a hat, thankfully. You know, I probably should rep my own brand.
You probably should, but that does.
Well, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is
everyday. Yeah, these are the new. We're doing all these new beach hats for up and down the coast. So different beach cities.
So just the different beaches in San Diego. You're creating hats
Pacific Beach, Ocean Beach, Mission Beach, all that good stuff. Just for fun. A little capsule collection.
Got to be a La Jolla Shores hat, I would assume, or the Shores.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. So I want to get everybody caught up. I want people to hear kind of the backstory of Everyday California. And then what we're going to talk about is how you've successfully taken one business, which is your core business of adventure that we'll talk about in a minute. And you've used that to successfully launch other spinoffs, other related product offerings, even some license deals that are really interesting and I think informative. And so if you would, just tell everybody kind of how you got your start. What is Everyday California? You tell us the story.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. So Everyday California, we're an ocean adventure and lifestyle brand. So we do kayaking, paddleboarding, surfing, snorkeling. We do tours, lessons, and rentals. And that's kind of the genesis of our business. And then we also do men's, women's, and kids apparel and accessories. So pretty much everything from hats and t-shirts, which is how we started, to flip-flops and water bottles and towels, and we have a beer, and we're working on a sunscreen, and we have all different types of product offerings, and which is why we truly believe we are a lifestyle brand, because we do everything in the ocean, and then we make products for all different types of lifestyle activities.
Yeah, and it's just a super fun brand. And I will give a quick shout out. San Diego is one of my favorite spots. We try to go at least a few times a year, even though we live in Missouri. We make it out there. La Jolla is next level, which is where you guys are located. La Jolla is like the best. And so I will say, if you're out there, you have to do the kayak tours that Everyday California puts on. It's just a unique experience. There's no place like La Jolla. Also, if you want to pick up surfing, which I've really worked hard to try to learn surfing over the last couple of years. I surf. I could label myself I'm a good surfer for my area of the country.
You've had a couple lessons with us, right?
Yeah, I did. And you guys did quick plug if you want to take surf lessons. The group at Everyday Cali, awesome, really help you out. Patient but good, good instructors as well. So you got to check that out. And what's also interesting is you hang out in the Everyday Cali shop. Whether you're waiting for your surfboard or waiting for your kayak tour, people are actively shopping your apparel. Like, this is not just hey, we called up a screen printer and they threw our logo on some t-shirts and now we're hawking them in the shop, right? You guys have really developed some fantastic products. It's a brand. You can tell a lot of thought, a lot of care went into that. And so
we've got product developers working with us all the time. And yeah, you're right. And that's the one thing. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because a lot of people do think, oh, well, you're just the tourist spot and you're printing blanks or printing logos on blanks. But yeah, we're manufacturing in not only the US, but Mexico, China, Brazil, Vietnam, and really creating products and not just printing on blanks.
Yeah. Was that kind of the goal from the beginning when you started doing, because you started with kayak tours, right? That was the very first thing you
Yeah.
did. Did you always think that there's going to be a lifestyle brand, apparel is going to be next, or did that come later?
It was in the initial concept. I mean, that was really what we wanted to do, was use the platform that we had to build a bigger brand, and build that lifestyle around the ocean and around all the activities that we do. You and I have talked, and I can tell a story quickly. But yeah, when we started, it was myself and a business partner. We had some pickup trucks, or we had a pickup truck, some kayaks, cell phone, and an iPad. And we basically kept them at a storage unit, and we would wake up early in the morning and drive down to the beach and drop everything off. And while we're in the truck, I'd make calls, return calls to like Groupon customers to get them to come out on the ocean with us.
So
So
you
what
and your business
started,
partner, you guys were tour guides and everything, like you were doing the
we
whole
were
thing.
tour guides, we were washing wetsuits, we were moving boats, we were going to the storage unit. I mean, we were up at 6 a.m. moving those things, and putting a rope around them and driving them down to the beach, and it was everything. I mean, no one was answering the phones when we were in the water, so you would like do a 2-hour kayak tour, run out of the water, check the phones, all that. We quickly learned that we needed a couple employees, so we did
Built
hire
it
on a
up.
couple buddies right away. And it just evolved from there. We opened our first store, about 500 square foot shoebox. I wouldn't even call it a store. Our first little area to operate out of. 8 months in, we were
And is
able to
that
get
where
a
it
little
was the
spot.
original shop? Is that where that awesome taco place is now,
Yep,
or is
that's
that
where the
yeah,
taco place
okay.
is now. Yeah, yeah.
Place is tiny.
Yeah, it was a shoebox for real. And yeah, and then that's where the genesis of the brand comes from. That's where that started. Once we had the little store, it was okay. Let's make those. Let's print on those blanks and
Yeah.
sell something. So we had a T-shirt and a hat, and once we sold out our first 24 hats, we were 48 hats, and once we sold out those 48, we made 100, and we kind of just started from there. And it was one product at a time, one hat, one T-shirt, one tank top, all that stuff. And then that's when the brand, kind of really started to grow, and the company itself started to grow as we continue to get more customers, as we continue to get busier and have more kayak tours, more paddleboard rentals, whatever it may be. We had to hire on more and more people, and now sitting at today, we have about 80 employees, and we see about 75,000 customers a year that go out on the ocean with us.
It's crazy, man. That's
So
crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a well-oiled machine, man. I mean, the tours are fun. I've done like 4 now, and I'm still not tired of it. But yeah, the check-in process is smooth. The way the employees treat you as you're out there, it's just awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about the apparel and how I love how you kind of got started with just one T-shirt, one hat, and did well there. Did you start with I'm wearing the El Clasico. Is this what you started with?
That
Or
is the original. Yeah, that's the original print. We had it in the one color. We had it in a charcoal, like a heather charcoal tri-blend. That was my favorite, basically my favorite blank. And that was the original design, the original flag design that everybody loves. It's still one of our top sellers today. I think, it's a legacy product that we'll always keep around. We're definitely, that went on everything at the beginning. We're definitely evolving the brand now. We have a lot more product offerings, a lot more designs. We're trying to get more technical with our gear. We actually just brought in one of the original founders of Blenders Eyewear, the original designer and founder. He sold his part of the company a couple of years back, and has been doing some outside design work and consulting and having a good time. And we were friends when he started Blenders and I started Everyday California. So I don't know if everybody on this podcast knows who Blenders is, but they're a major eyewear brand now.
Huge eyewear brand. And what a great story. I mean, it's kind of similar beginnings, right? Just real humble, couple dudes.
Very similar.
And then an eyeglass company that's just exploded.
And so him and I were roommates, and he actually was working for us when they had started Blenders just prior to that, and helping out. And now things have come full circle, and we've got him now as our brand manager and our design lead. So we're really pushing and hoping to push the envelope of our designs and our capabilities now that the team is growing a lot.
That's awesome. I love that. And what's really interesting, kind of hearing you tell the story, reminds me of this principle that Jim Collins teaches. Jim Collins, author of Good to Great, Built to Last, and other amazing books. He talks about, successful companies fire bullets first and then cannonballs. So kind of use a ship metaphor. Companies that tend to make big mistakes, maybe crippling mistakes, fire cannonballs first, and then, maybe they realize they're out of money or out of whatever. But it seems like you guys have done that consistently, where, hey, like we believe we can make apparel work. So here's one shirt or here's one hat, and then it sells out, it's successful. So now you begin to expand. So talk about what does that process look like as you had those initial successes with shirts? How do you decide where to go next? Is it just like you guys are really creative and you're trying to design for stuff that you like, or are you asking people, doing research? What are you doing?
No, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there. We continue to fire bullets. We really don't throw a lot of big crazy ideas out there. We can't afford to invest in crazy ideas, just because we are a seasonal business, so we really learn how to manage cash flow early on, right? When you start to grow as a kayak company and a surf company, and your whole business is adventure and tourism in the water, those customers go away in the wintertime.
Even though winter is still nice in San Diego, it slows down big time.
Winter is still beautiful, but it definitely, I mean, you got 60% less, 70% less people around and coming out in the water. So as we developed products over time, it was really a bullet here and a bullet there. And they were natural progressions, right? You make a t-shirt first, and then after you make a t-shirt, you make a tank top. And then once you figure that out, you make a sweatshirt, because you're heading into the winter and you hope that some people will buy those sweatshirts. And this was also at the beginning of kind of the e-commerce, I would say, revolution, right? Our first website was on WordPress. We couldn't even really sell a product on there. I don't think we dove into Shopify until maybe, I'd have to look, but maybe 2015, 2014, 2015, something like that. And that's when we started to sell online a little bit. We were so focused on our own retail in store and our customers in store that we didn't really get that up and running. And again, it was a natural progression of, hey, let's figure out what our best hoodie is and our best material and our best ideas around that before we, make a Lycra UPF shirt for the water, which is much more custom and much harder to make. So definitely one thing at a time. And when it comes to product development, again, we try and base it on what we're doing around the water. We don't try and expand outside of our capabilities too much. We know where we are. We know what we're good at. We're not trying to compete with O'Neill to make the best wetsuits. That's not our business. But we do have a really cool floating waterproof hat that we made that works really well for our guides and works awesome for our surf instructors. And it just fits the brand, fits the vibe. And to develop a floating waterproof hat is a hell of a lot easier than to develop a wetsuit for men and women in 10 different sizes, in different thicknesses and all of that. So we develop products that we know that we can hopefully hit home runs without breaking the bank and without hiring on the 10 technical designers.
Yeah. And so do you have like a detailed process that you go through to evaluate what was it going to cost to actually do R&D for this product and then manufacture it, and then what does the demand actually look like for this product? Because you mentioned wetsuits. And it's only just people that live there that are probably going to buy wetsuits, right? Everybody else is going to rent them and whatnot. What's your process there as you're looking at a new product? And if it's more just kind of organic, kind of feeling out, that's cool too.
Yeah, so it has been just organic, and it has been like, hey, we like that, let's try and make that. And then it goes over to Brody, who is our kind of logistics manager and product developer. He works with all the manufacturers. We give him if we have an idea, he can kind of take that idea and shop it around and see how much it costs, and we can make a decision on how much time needs to be invested, how much money needs to be invested. And this is part of the reason why we have hired Blake as our brand manager now, is to tighten that process up. I don't think we're not going to be able to get to the next step without more standard operating procedures in place. We've been lucky enough to be successful in the ways that we're doing things, but it's not the way we should be doing things. We develop products as we go along. As we think something's cool, we make it, we drop it, and we've had a lot of issues in the past with, okay, it's February or it's March and we want to make this cool new board short. And then we get the designs, and then we get the samples from China, and those take 6 weeks, and then they come back and say okay, you got to order 1,000 of these, and then they need another 3 months to manufacture them, and then they go to customs, and then they're sitting in customs for a month, and like next thing you know, you got 1,000 board shorts, and it's like the end of August, and the summer's basically over. You're like, oh man. So we're trying to get a lot better at that, and change those processes. We still like throwing things at the wall. I mean, I can't tell you I don't throw things at the wall all the time. That I
think that's just part of the creative process, right? That's part of being an entrepreneur. Like, you have to have that. And I think most entrepreneurs just have that inside them. Like they have to be kicking out new ideas, and
you have to do it. Exactly. Right. And we're having this conversation in August now, and I know it sounds early, but we're looking at developing a flannel shirt that has like a bottle opener in it, and it's a little bit thicker, and potentially has a little bit of water wicking to it. And that product we would like to drop in like November, October, November. We're already behind the ball on that. And we've worked with the manufacturer, and we've realized that for the quantity that we want to do, because we have no idea how it's going to do, how well it's going to sell, it'd be like a small capsule collection, that the cost per shirt would be something like $38, which if you're in the world of apparel is very expensive on the cost side. But it might be something that we might try and make 100 of them and see what happens. And hopefully they come in November. But again, this is why this is why I'm hiring more people and bringing in more people, because these processes and procedures need to be tightened up a lot more. I've learned as being the CEO that my time is so scattered and so all over the place that I as much as I would love to sit and develop every single new product and create that timeline and design and go back to when we first started, and I was on Photoshop, learning Photoshop on how to make things. Now my time is spent between meeting with the accountants, and then meeting with the lawyers, and then meeting with the city officials, and then meeting with our managers and our directors, and so dialing all of that in and just kind of becoming more of a thought leader, and not being as hands-on.
And you've done it, and just being able to observe you now for several years, done a great job of that. And it's interesting. And I'm the same way, just in a different world, the agency world, where it's very easy for me just to want to get into some of the details and like craft campaigns and do some of the stuff that I've done for years and that I'm good at. But really the highest and best use of your time as a CEO is often to get the best out of your people, and to inspire them and equip them and train them and give them everything they need to do what they need to do, because you could very quickly become your own bottleneck and like the thing that slows down your business and keeps that next great product from being introduced. And so you've done a really good job of that. So that's awesome. Now, I do have just a quick question, because this is fascinating to me. So a flannel shirt with a bottle opener in it.
Yeah.
I've seen a few other. Do the guys at William Painter sunglasses?
Yeah, I know those guys. Yeah, they're right here in Pacific Beach, right with me.
They are, yeah.
I'm wearing my Pacific Beach hat right here.
Yeah, so they're buddies of mine. They've got the hook on their sunglasses to pop open the bottles, which is cool. I bought a pair of flip-flops a few years ago. Not Everyday California brand, which is a mistake.
It's Reef.
But
Reef has that trademark.
Is with the bottle opener on
with the bottle opener. Yeah, they originally did that with Mick Fanning like 15 years ago or something like that. I don't know if the patent on it has expired, because it's potential that other companies are doing it now, but it was Reef who originally.
I think they are Reef. Flip-flops. Although after you wear flip-flops, and especially in a COVID world, like that's kind of the last place I want to put my beverage, is right where in the underneath part of my foot. Anyway,
I never used it. I never used it either.
I've never
used
my whole
it thing. I was like, I don't want to put my foot on the top of my beer, the bottom of my shoe.
Yeah, but I don't trust where I've been walking. Yeah,
but they've probably sold 100 million of those things. So
isn't that
can't hate on it? Yeah.
It feels like a good idea before you start wearing them, maybe. But so where did that idea come from? So bottle opener on a flannel shirt, was that just a crazy idea, or was there an interesting story there?
It came from the staff. It came from the staff. I believe it was Brody and Robin, who is our. We have company. I'm working from home because it's COVID. Yeah. So I think this is getting pretty normal for everybody, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You guys are on the e-commerce influence podcast right now.
I think that was like, I can't believe I'm actually on this podcast because it's so popular. Everybody's heard of
I
it.
believe that's what they said.
That's
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm on this podcast.
And that's totally normal. Like kids photo, I've had my kids interrupt doing crazy things, and so
Yeah.
Totally normal.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What were we were talking about? The bottle opener. Okay, so I believe it was Brody and Robin and Jana. They're on our brand team. So graphic designer, basically social media manager and photographer, and then logistics and product development. So those guys have really stepped up. Again, it's a matter of me trying to get out of the way and let everybody do their thing. Let them come up with ideas.
Let those ideas come out of the team, man. They've got them.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Fantastic. So, and I would be much more likely to use a bottle opener that was attached to my shirt than I would the bottom of my shoe. So
absolutely. Now, let me ask you, would you want it on the pocket of the flannel or on the bottom of the flannel?
Dude, I think, I would have to see it. I'd have to see it. Yeah. I think I'm going to go bottom of the flannel though. I think that's like a little inconspicuous. You it's kind of cool. You're opening it down there versus like up here. Yeah. It's a little awkward to open. I've got like long arms, and so anyway, so
these are things we talk about around the office.
Yeah,
well, at home now.
Fun stuff. Well, virtually now, I guess. But awesome. So let's talk a little bit about some of the partnerships, and so partnerships, licensing deals. I know there's some awesome things that can come from that. There are real horror stories and or just kind of meh stuff that can come out of that, but. Talk about your journey there, because I think that's an area that not a lot of people, that's a path that not a lot of people go down. And I think it all starts with the fact that you put so much time and attention and energy into creating this brand that's really cool, and this brand that other people want to be a part of. So if you just had a real cheesy, brand, no one would want to do this with you. But talk about some of the licensing and partnership deals, the good, the bad, and otherwise.
Yeah, so we first got introduced to licensing back in 2015. We were approached by a company called Cherokee Global Brands. Now, Cherokee Global Brands is a major licensee. They own the Cherokee brand, which was in Target for forever and has been around, I believe, since the 80s. They also own Tony Hawk. They own Liz Lang. They now own High Tech. They own Magnum Boots. They own a lot of companies and a lot of licenses. So we first partnered with them in 2015, and that licensing deal was essentially for them to do our mass market retail. So your Targets, your Kohl's, your potentially Walmart's or Ross, or all of the big JCPenney's, a lot of companies, major retailers, and then they were going to do that as well as our international licensing. So when we first started, our first stores we were in were actually Sears Canada was the first licensing deal. And currently we only have one licensing deal through Cherokee. They're actually now known as Apex Brands, and that is in Mexico. I believe about 400 stores in Mexico. So it was an interesting learning experience. There are a lot of ups and downs with licensing. I might have done things differently. I was a little bit younger, and now, having a partner is
one of the issues of licensing is you lose control, right?
You do lose some control. So they technically own a portion of our intellectual property that is, licensed out to other companies around the globe, essentially. Now they don't own all of our intellectual property. Say, for example, right now we are working on our sunscreen. Our sunscreen has been in development for about 18 months. Now we own that intellectual property for Everyday California, for our bear, for our trade, our name, our word mark, and we can do with it what we please without having to really ask anybody. However, creating a sunscreen is very difficult. We're not white labeling this stuff. We're not just going down and slapping our name on a random bottle of sunscreen and selling it out. We brought in a different licensing partner who basically is licensing out our name and helping us develop the product. It's a different type of contract where it's a shorter term. It's not a forever and perpetuity deal. It's more of like a 3-year deal, 5-year deal with some revenue goals and kickers there. But we did that because we have no experience with this. I've never developed a skincare product before, and we were
Yeah, going from apparel to something like skincare. I mean, more
Mhm.
regulations, more complexity, just all kinds of stuff that
Yeah,
you wouldn't know.
tons of things you wouldn't know. And also, we want it to be reef safe. We want it to be environmentally friendly. We want it to be, every little sticker you see on a bottle that non-GMO and vegan and cruelty free, and we wanted all of that because we're an ocean adventure company. Our brand stems from the ocean. Our employees are in the ocean every day. We wanted to make sure that this stuff was not hurting the environment. So we developed a formula with our licensing partner with different labs, so actual scientists, which is crazy, to put sea kelp and algae
Which is
into
so cool.
the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really really cool because we have a we're part of 1% for the planet, so we donate 1% of our revenue to charity, and the one that we work really closely with is called Green Wave, and they basically are kelp farmers, which is a whole nother conversation that we can talk about. But that's why we wanted kelp in there. And they brought in employees from Estee Lauder to help develop it. We used our internal design team to design packaging alongside of another company that only designs packaging for consumer product, CPG, so consumer product goods. I believe, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Consumer packaged goods, right?
Sorry, consumer package. I knew I was saying it wrong.
Yeah.
Consumer packaged goods. So we brought in a designer to do that. And that's a totally different licensing deal than the other licensing deal with apparel. However, both of those, we have the ability to sell. We have the contracts in all those contracts that we are the sole online retailer. And it's great because we made these deals, the original Cherokee deal, so long ago that online wasn't as big as it is now, right? And I said, there's no way we're giving up anything online, so we didn't. And so we have the same deal with our sunscreen or anything that we do. We control everything that's online, and basically all the messaging for Everyday California comes out of my office and our team, which is really cool. Yeah, I mean, there's ups and downs about licensing. Those are just literally two examples of licensing. Another really cool license we've done is the Everyday California IPA, which is a beer, and we do that through Resident Brewing here in San Diego. Just another really fun thing to do. You license it out.
Did you do that mainly for the fun factor, or was it just
100% for the fun factor?
Okay.
It's a little bit of business, but it's a marketing play, and it's a loosely, I would even say it's hard to say it's a license. It's like a loosely based collaboration where there's like a small licensing agreement in it, and it's cool marketing for us. It's fun for them.
It's fun
we
to
changed our logo.
Put that beer on your t-shirts. You got guys drinking the Everyday California, people drinking the Everyday California, beer locally. It's super cool.
We're in like 20 plus bars around here in San Diego and La Jolla. So it's just cool you see our tap and it's got the Everyday California bear, but instead of holding a surfboard, he's holding basically a pint glass. So that's kind of cool. So those licensing opportunities that way. We are launching I'm very excited about this. Another one, just fun. I like to do this. We're doing a CBD license with Sunday Scaries.
Idea. Yep.
So
Sunday Scaries is a fantastic brand. I've tried the product; it's really good.
Amazing. He's Mike Sill and Bo over there at the team over there. We're friends. We're in the same entrepreneur organization together, and it just made sense. Hey, we're Everyday California. They're Sunday Scaries. They have a gummy bear. We have a bear holding a surfboard. California and CBD and the marijuana industry and all that. It's just like all goes hand in hand. So we said, let's do this collaboration. So. September 1, we are dropping the Everyday Scaries collection. So we've got their custom gummies for us, custom packaging, all kinds of cool stuff. And then we switched Brutus out, our bear, for a gummy bear. So now we've got a gummy bear holding a surfboard, and we've created all these really cool graphics, and we're doing cool t-shirts and hats. And it's just, that's another quote unquote licensing deal, but it's more of a collaboration.
It's kind of a co-branding opportunity.
It's a co-brand collaboration. We get introduced to their customer base. They get introduced to our customer base. And we just have fun with it. I ordered a big inflatable gummy bear that we're going to have one of our guys go out and surf. And both of our brand teams are going to take photos.
He's going to surf the bear.
He's going to surf the gummy bear. He's going to surf on the gummy bear. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of good things that can come out of a licensing deal. Sure, they can fall through or maybe not live up to expectations or whatever, but you get to leverage expertise that you don't have and distribution networks that you don't have and just talent that you don't have. But then also you get to expand your line, right? And you get to do something fun like the gummies where your customers are probably a good percentage of them would want to give a try to a CBD product and same with their customers wanting to buy, something of yours as well.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of evaluate a deal to understand this is good for my brand or this is potentially just a distraction? Because as entrepreneurs, we love ideas, we love deal making and things like that. How do you determine if something is good long term versus a distraction? And obviously you can't know everything before you start, but
yeah, I mean, I think at the beginning when we first started the company, you say yes to everything, right? You're just excited that people like accept you or like you, because somebody comes to you and they have a deal and they have an idea, you're like, yes,
sure,
yes,
let's do it.
you say yes to everything. Now we've been through so many and we have just much more opportunities. If it doesn't, I feel like you can just feel when it's right. We know when it's right, when it fits the brand. That Everyday California IPA and beer just feels right. Like California was big a bit into IPAs.
Yep. IPAs are hot right now, especially with younger generations and stuff.
Yeah, and as soon as you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, imagine what the apparel ideas we could do, or think about what the tap at the bar would look like, and you just you can just feel it, and you know when something's right. I think the most important thing is to make sure that if you're going to do a licensing deal or a collaboration, that you have the contracts down in an extremely favorable way. I think as long as you're comfortable with the contracts and with what the agreement is ahead of time, it's going to be, whether it's successful to your wildest imagination and everyone's making money and that contract is solid, or whether it's a huge flop and you can get out and forget about it and no one really saw it. You need to have that in place so that you're just taken care of, you're just protected.
I mean, without that, you're asking for a complete nightmare and likely legal battles. I think sometimes entrepreneurs want to avoid some of the legal hassles because we don't like to do that. It slows us down. We like to get deals done. But if you don't do the legal stuff up front, the legal stuff will come back to get you in the end. And so it's not worth it. Do you recommend then like finding an attorney that specializes in IP issues and licensing deals and stuff like that? Or is that
100%? 100%. Yeah, we have an amazing licensing attorney based out of New York who has represented some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment, and amazing firm, amazing guy. And that just, the work that he did 5 years ago, you don't understand it or realize it at the time. The contracts are so big and you're negotiating 50 different deal points. And then you look back 5 years now and you're like, oh, that's why that's in there.
Yeah.
That's why this clause is in there. That's why that is it. So glad you do it right. These collaboration deals, Sunday Scaries, I'm good friends with the guys. It's a licensing deal, but it's a collaboration. We don't really have, it's
and
not.
That's like a big deal.
It's not a formal thing.
It's like a fun thing. It's like the beer.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not a long-term thing. They're not going to be selling Everyday Scaries gummy bears forever. It's like a 1 month thing. They're doing it. We're doing it. We're dropping it. It's going to be fun. Then it's over. They make their money on CBD. We make our money on apparel. Boom. We're done. Yep. That's not a bigger deal when you're talking about a sunscreen license or a licensing deal with Cherokee Global Brands, or if you're working with major retailers or anything like that. So
cool. So I love the way you describe it there, that it feels right, and a lot about a brand is about perception, and does this line up, and will somebody look at this and say, oh yeah, of course, the Everyday California IPA and I really think people will do that with sunscreen, right? And I want to talk more about the sunscreen product just a little bit here. It's kind of our last topic, but I think people will look at sunscreen and say, of course, like they're out on the water and they're out there, like you have to have sunscreen, and most sunscreen is terrible, right? I remember that realization when I started learning that, maybe, so obviously we've been trained that skin cancer is bad, and it is.
Yeah.
But then when you realize that, yes, if you use the wrong sunscreen, it may be doing as much damage or more than just without it. And so it's like, okay, well, this is terrible.
Yeah.
So why did you choose sunscreen? And let's talk through that, because that is and you kind of hinted about it, you know, talked about a little bit before. That's a big departure from adventure and apparel and things like that.
So you hit the nail on the head with, yes, it just makes sense for us. It's another one of those when you have the aha moment and you're like, we're selling a ton of Sun Bum in store. They have a great brand. Why can't we do that? You know, there's no reason why we can't create our own sunscreen and figure this thing out. So that was one thing that it just made sense. Number two, looking at
it tied into your
growing
mission too. So right, it ties into the brand, ties into the mission, which is a nice little bonus there too.
Exactly, it ties into all of it, right? And our thing is make fun happen, create cool products, and use business to improve the environment, right? So we'll improve the environment with this product because it's not going to be terrible for the environment like every other sunscreen, right? We're trying to be as natural as possible and make this as environmentally friendly as possible. Create cool products, right? It's a dope product, you know. We think it's a cool product. I think it smells great.
Goes on
should,
easy. Yeah, spray on goes on easy.
Yeah, I mean, you should have seen me, you know, at all the different perfume stores, like smelling different scents as we're making this, you know. And we finally decided on a scent that we're calling Malibu Beach.
Malibu Beach, I like that.
Yeah. So it's a cool product. And then make fun happen. So this is part of making fun happen, right? When you're out on the ocean with us, when you're in the water, when you're kayaking, you're paddleboarding, you're surfing, whatever it is, you're having fun, but you still need this product, right? So it fits completely in with our brand message. And then also, in order to scale, as I look to grow into the future, as we grow the brand online, as we make more apparel, and as we see what's going on with e-commerce in general, consumer packaged goods is one area that is just absolutely on fire. Yep. Consumer packaged goods seems like it's literally built for e-commerce. And I've been looking around thinking, okay, what can we do? What product can we do to scale this business to take us to the next level? How can we hit everybody in the US? We don't need, you know, some people aren't going to wear an Everyday California t-shirt because, you know what, they are hardcore Texas or whatever it is, right? Which is totally fine. They're not our customer base. I'm not worried about it. California is big enough for us. But in order to expand, to grow, to get that national reach, a consumer packaged goods like sunscreen can be sold anywhere in the country. I mean, Hawaiian Tropic. Does anybody not wear Hawaiian Tropic because it says Hawaii on it?
No, I live on the East Coast. I can't wear Hawaiian Tropic.
Can't wear Hawaiian Tropic. Yeah. So that works for us. And then, you know, it's really about that scalability, right? We can create a product that is you're going to use it once, and if you like it, you're going to buy it again, right? And you're going to continue to buy that product into the future. You're going to use it as much as possible. And we're going to have you as a customer for life. We're going to have a higher lifetime value. We're going to potentially have options for subscription based. We're going to be able to expand that product line. So not just a 30 SPF and a 50 SPF spray, but a 30 lotion, a 50 lotion, and you're getting into a 70. And then you have a face sunscreen, and then you have a stick. And then that's where we can get into after sun care, which I'm hoping to call a California tan in your hand. So if you can create an environmentally friendly even spray on tan, whatever that may be, the product options are endless. The lifetime values are higher. The subscription opportunities are massive. That's our going to be, I believe, our big winner when it comes to e-commerce. We've learned so much by selling apparel online, which is the hardest thing. You could probably speak to that.
Yeah, we were talking about that. The apparel is so hard because you've got to always be reinventing things, and you don't really know. I mean, you guys are really good designers, and you guys have an eye for what's cool, but you don't really know, right? Like, you may design some board shorts that you think are cool, but then people don't buy them, right? Like, the apparel is so challenging. Where you could have that same formula of sunscreen and sell it forever, right? Maybe just change the package, change a few little things here and there, but sell it forever.
And not only that, it's one size fits all, right? So even that shirt that you're wearing right there, the El Clasico, which is our, you know, legacy design. So I've got that t-shirt in 6 different colors for men, And through that, we have small, medium, large, extra large, double extra large, right? So I've got 5 sizes for each 6 colors. So just think about how many SKUs that is
Inventory
for
management
one.
becomes a challenge. Yeah.
Inventory management, dealing with manufacturing, everything. Logistically, the retail apparel and online apparel game is just, it's just hard. It's
It
just
is.
hard.
It is so hard.
And I couldn't be more excited to get into. I mean, we're obviously, the brand is always going to be here, and that's why we're bringing in a bigger team and a better team to make us better. But I couldn't be more excited to create like a really good consumer package
Yep.
product. It's
I
going to
love
be
it,
awesome.
man. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it, excited to test it, excited to see it. I've seen some of the early materials and the video and stuff. It's an awesome story. I think it's going to do really, really well. So when can we expect, and obviously we won't hold you to it,
Yeah,
when can we expect the sunscreen?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, it was going to be this year. I don't know if everybody heard, but there's a global pandemic that
A
pushed
what? A what?
yeah. So that has pushed our timeline. We'll be launching in spring of 2021, which is okay. It's given us more time to nail everything down and just get better, get our marketing better, get our messaging better, get our products better, everything. So we're stoked. Spring 2021 will be Everyday California sunscreen. We'll be all over the place.
Awesome. I love it. Let's kind of wrap up with maybe just some words of wisdom, pitfalls to avoid, things like that. And I guess the way we can kind of frame this it would be, when do you think people go wrong when it comes to licensing deals or line extension? And any words of advice that you would give to the entrepreneur that's saying, man, I really want to extend my brand. I either want to get into apparel,
Yeah.
or I want to get into this or that. What would you say to them?
I would hold off as long as possible, to be honest with you. I would take your time. I've look, I'll be 10. Well, Everyday California will have its 10-year anniversary on November 1st, which is wild. I dove into a lot of things really quickly and made a lot of mistakes early on and fell flat on my face. It's taken me a long time to gain patience. I'd say that patience has been something I've needed to learn. And I think if you're going to jump into something else, I would evaluate it more times than you can imagine and wait and let it sit. And then if you are going to do something, like I said before, lawyer up, get the best lawyers you can. Make sure you're making the right deal for yourself. And if there is a deal on the table, know that there'll be another deal.
Dude,
There
I
will
think
be another deal.
that's huge. Like, be willing to walk away. Be willing to make that tough decision. Be willing to walk away.
Yeah.
Be willing to delay something if that's gonna be what's best. Like, don't. I think sometimes we can get emotionally wrapped up into our decisions, and like you have to check that at the door. Be willing to walk away. Be willing to postpone things. And be willing to make those tough decisions for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because you think that just a quick side note, in business, that I had to learn that patience as well, not just with licensing deals or collaborations or opportunities. But when we first started, I always thought that things could be done quicker, right? You have an idea, you need something done, you make a phone call, you send an email, we need this done now. Why is this taking a week to get done? Or it should take a week, it should take a couple of days, and then it takes a month or 2 months. Everything in business I have pretty much learned takes twice as long as you expect it to take. So that patience is really across the board, just learning that patience. Yes, you want to push everybody, but some things speed, there's not a lot of speed.
And sometimes going a little bit slower up front is going to allow you to really accelerate on the back end. And so having the wisdom to discern that as well. So that's awesome, man. This has been a ton of fun. Love talking about your brand and your business. So if people want to just follow what you're doing, which I highly recommend, one of the best things we can do as entrepreneurs is watch other successful entrepreneurs. So where can people learn more about Everyday Cali? And can we get on like a wait list or notification list about the sunscreen? How can we find
for
out more?
sure. Yeah, we're going to be dropping a lot of that stuff this fall. We'll be talking about the sunscreen. We'll be building up for it. So you can follow us at Everyday California on Instagram or Everyday California on Facebook. And check us out at everydaycalifornia.com. And if anybody ever has any questions or wants to reach out, I'm always available. And my email is just chris@everydaycalifornia.com. So it's pretty easy. to find me.
Awesome. Chris Lynch, ladies and gentlemen, bringing it. Chris, really appreciate it, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Brett.
Fun.
Appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Bye. So as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'd love to hear from you, our listeners. What would you like to hear more of? Give us some show ideas. Give us some feedback. Also, if you feel so inclined, we'd love that 5-star review on iTunes. That helps other people discover the show. And with that, until next time, thank you for listening.